Yo, how we doing, everybody? How we doing? How we doing? Yo, legend family, everybody, what is going on? What is good, man? How you guys feeling tonight? How we doing? Man, we are back with another one, man. All right, all right. Okay, hold on. Let me do this real quick. Check. Yo, baby, what up? What's going on? What's going on? What is? All right, chat. So, welcome to another, you know, a Legend in Progress podcast. This is episode two, man. Episode two. Uh, got my boy Turtle here as always. Let me make sure I turn you up, G. Make sure I get you turned up. Get there, right? Check everything squared away real quick. All right, chat. Welcome back to another episode, another podcast, a Legend in Progress podcast, man. Um, it's gonna be a good one tonight, man. We might, might be might be some good conversation here tonight, man. I do appreciate you all tuning into the stream um as we're getting this off the ground, man. So hopefully everybody's having a great night. I do got my boy Turtle here with me. G, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
G. All right. So I know the last one, we was kind of all over the place, but G, I know you got some stuff. We did not get any topic or form submissions. So I know I got some questions, and I know you said you had some stuff to talk about as well, G. So uh, you know, um, so I
Go ahead and
also
kick us off, G.
okay. So all right, so well, I feel like I need to turn this music like off to an extent. Right? I don't want to. All right, so as I stated yesterday, I know the last podcast, we were definitely, we were a little, we were definitely a little over the place, all over the place a little bit, right? Which is perfectly fine. But I have some questions, uh, and then I've got some topics based off of the questions as well. So my first question is, how does personal growth actually look in real life, not the highlight reel version? So how would you say personal growth actually looks, G?
I think it depends on where you're starting from. I mean, it could be. It just depends on your like where you are, and if you're looking for it, that's the thing. Um, a lot of the times, it happens without you even knowing. You know what I mean? Based
Right.
on previous experiences and different things like that. But it depends on what you're looking for, right? So if you're looking for progress, you're probably not going to see it. right? Because it's just like you going to the gym. You go in there every day and you're looking for a certain thing and you're not gonna find it. But you give it time, you do what you're supposed to do, and then from there you'll start to see the growth.
Okay. So I think for me, I think it's a I think the personal growth uh I feel like it all starts from within, right? I feel like it starts as a mental thing before anything else. Um, you know, from a growth standpoint, if you're not willing to change or revisit, the way that you may think about things or feel about things, at one point in time in life, it may be it may be a thing of, oh, well, I'm thinking this way, but now you might think differently. Whether that's for better or for worse. Uh, I feel like growth is something that has to start mentally before anything.
But does growth require you to take a step back first, in your opinion?
Yes. Yes. So I think that growth definitely makes you take a step back, right? So again, like having to revisit. So whether it's something that you you know you're doing wrong, hey, you have to take a step back off of that, and you have to revisit. Okay, well, this is how I move here, but what about here? And moving forward, how should I think? Um, I definitely think that it makes you have to take a step back. You absolutely have to take a step back to begin some kind of personal growth journey. Yo, Sean, what's good? Sean, what's going on?
And I would agree um, to that regard. But I don't think it's necessarily the hey, you're looking for this, you're looking for that. I think the best, I mean, change or growth happens when you weren't even trying, like when you're not looking for, it, when you least expect it, things like that. And it's just like when you're little, um, people are like, well, you learn from my mistakes, do it this that. For whatever reason, it is harder just to learn from your own mistakes, G.
Right. Sean said, can't hear turtle. Huh? Uh, Maybe I had it turned too far down. Muscle foot hardware, so that it could be that. Oh, okay. I got you. Yeah, well, I feel like with growth, I feel like it's also kind of paired with like your integrity. Uh, like you said, well, how are you moving? What are you doing uh when nobody's watching? Uh like how are you doing whenever nobody's watching? Um, I know that's like I said, hand in hand with integrity. But uh I feel like that all kind of goes hand in hand. Uh, when you're by yourself, how are you moving? How are you thinking? What are you doing differently than than the last incident or the last time something like this happened? Um,
Yeah, I mean, you look at it. I look at it like people say, "Oh, I need to take time to work on me" and things like that. What does that mean? What does that look like?
yeah, yeah, I mean, but
Because because I mean, you got some people out here who, when they say they need to take time and they need to work on them, I
and they go
mean,
wow out.
man,
They go and do the opposite of what they're saying that they're gonna do.
yeah, but I mean, what about like? I mean, but you also have people who like give, 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 give. What if now? Hey, I'm gonna need to be more focused on me, a little more selfish in a way,
Right.
because that's what's going to be better for them. You know what I mean?
Hmm. And I feel like being selfish for yourself, I feel like that ends up, depending on what you're selfish about, right? I feel like that ends up, that could potentially help you in the long run. I feel like it's obviously, and it's more so in relationships, obviously, where everybody uses the I need to work on me thing. Uh, Working on yourself, I, I'm not going to say that it's a statement or something that people just use loosely, right? You know, but I will say that when people use that, I've always kind of been like confused on like, okay, well, what do you mean? Because I feel like you're not gonna be able to see the work that you're trying to put in on yourself or whatever the case may be. I don't think you see that until you literally are in a situation where you have to be different than the way that you used to be. Uh, so I mean that kind of goes into the question, G. What's something that you had to unlearn in order to grow? Something that you had to unlearn.
Oh, I mean, hand to hand, like making people happy and like caring what people think. Like it's okay to be misunderstood. Genuinely, it's okay. Like, and so I was worried about what other people, not necessarily what other people thought of me, but like, hey, how are you doing? More like more outward centered, than not have to focus on me. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so being able to do that and focus more on myself, things I want to accomplish, what I want to do for me, which in turn made me better in the long run.
Okay. Yeah. So for me, for me, something I had to unlearn is maybe being too selfish, right? Um, Not caring what other people think to an extent, and I say not like you're, just a random person, but the people that are close to you, like, hey, like what you're doing here kind of seems selfish. I don't know if if you mean it that way or if you're trying to act this way. Uh, like for me, with a lot of things, I'm very stone cold. So I've had to kind of reel that back a little bit, just to grow because yes, it's your life, but I feel like to an extent there could be a line where okay, I might be a little too selfish, especially when you have a family or when you have a super close group of friends. Uh, Being a little too selfish, you know, could be harmful in the long run. So I think I've kind of scaled back in that regard on like learning to grow. Uh, but then at the same time, uh, while unlearning how to be so selfish, you have to find the balance and you have to find that way to be selfless also. Uh, especially like you like in these positions of leadership or when you have a big following and people are coming to you for advice, like taking the time to be selfless to listen, to help somebody with whatever they may be going through at the same time. I definitely think that you have to be in the middle of selfish and selfless to be able to see some sort of growth. Uh, I'm definitely selfless in a lot of things, but I am also very selfish with a lot of other things. So I definitely think that those two, you got to find a balance. Um, how do you stay patient with yourself when progress feels slow?
Oh, Rome wasn't built in a day.
Huh?
I mean, I said Rome wasn't built in a day.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's little things. I mean, you look at, I mean, anybody's hero, anybody's idol, anybody that you look up to didn't get there overnight. And we were so used to and so accustomed to things coming to us so fast, whether it be food, mail, packages, whatever the case, entertainment, videos, whatever it may be. And they think the real world or life is that way. And it's not. You know what I mean? I mean, it took me a long time to get where I'm at now with my job, with my relationships, with family, friends, whoever it may be. It's not an overnight thing. People want that here and now.
Right.
And
They want the quick fix.
correct, but just like everybody's heard from their parents, you look at what lasts. It's the things that you work on, the time you put in. That's the stuff that lasts the longest.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that I think that I'm very patient with like I'm very patient with myself overall, right? Um, just kind of waiting. You know, the one thing I was taught just kind of piggybacks off what you just said, like playing the long game. You know, when it came to work, um, as you know, my old boss before we moved down here was all about the long game. What are you doing long term to be successful with whatever you're doing? You know, I stopped thinking short term. You know, it's definitely okay to, you know, want something, you know, here and now, especially if it's not something that uh, may not give you like a long term result. But I feel like you have to be patient with yourself. If you don't have patience with yourself, how are you going to have patience with anything or anybody else? If you're not, and that goes into, you know, the growth of, uh, you know, having to be patient in the understanding of what you're trying to understand and what you're trying to figure out about yourself.
But it's like, I mean, we talk about the here and now. I mean, it's just like with my job currently, there's no immediate like, hey, I want to take this next step. Someone has to move on. All those positions are filled. So I'm having to wait for that to happen. Well, in the meantime, what can I do? You can say goals as small as making your bed for a week. What does that do? Well, that helps you have discipline.
Mm-hmm.
And that discipline can then carry over to the next thing. And so it's small things, it's small steps for a grander uh, prize at the end. But it's just setting those small daily goals that you can actually achieve in order to help you get where you want to be at the end of the day.
Right. Um, yeah, I mean, you know, obviously before, you know, everything happened, you know, I was in a pretty solid position. Uh, you know, but I do feel like I started to get a little impatient. Not when you necessarily like master the craft, right? Or you master the metrics, whatever the case may be. Uh, I feel like once you learn something and once you master something, then I feel like somebody being impatient is, you know, for ourselves is mistaken as being bored, being bored with what you're doing. But yeah, like, hey, well, I'm trying to master being a manager in this field and doing this, but I can work on these other things like learning a new skill. Like it's like what you said. Like, I mean, I know you know, I know you were doing it. Like, do taking these certifications, these little, you know, tests or whatever the case may be. To, hey, I'm just trying to add to what I already like have built. So, you know, and in our field, it's making it hard for somebody to say no. Like, how are you going to shift your mindset to where once it's time for something, uh, giving somebody the ability to not say no? I think I think for me, that's a that's a big thing. You know, I always said it, you know, trying to figure out what else I could do to keep somebody from saying no. Or and that's really more so the job field, but like with yourself, uh, getting in a routine and a habit of, hey, being successful, or what does it look like to you? I asked Bree and Tatum earlier, like, what does success look like to you in like 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, or a year? Or what is something that you want to do? A lot of people will probably be like Bree and say, well, I don't know. But then she was able to tell me. So it's not that you don't know, it's that, hey, maybe what you're thinking, that may be success to you, but you feel like you could and or should be doing more. But that's not actually the case though. It's how are you going to grow, into being successful or being the person that you want to be. And a part of that is being patient, whether that's a year or two, 3 years, 4 years. So yeah, it's very true. Rewarding yourself after some time. Yeah, yeah, facts, Angus. Um, so I think it's okay to not know though, and giving yourself grace while you figure it out. Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think, Shaw. I think for me, and I'm sure when it comes to Turtle too, like me when I was a manager, I was asking people, what do you want to do, or what is your long term goal? And a lot of people will be like, well, I really don't know. I haven't really thought about it. And then 5 minutes later, they'll be like, well, I think it'd be really cool to do A, B, and C. Well, if you think that would be cool, then I feel like you also could like kind of gear your thought towards, something in that ballpark as well, not just sitting around, because I do get impatient when it comes to like what I want to do. Sometimes, I definitely get a little impatient and I'm trying to just soak in enough information, but I do think that we kind of get overwhelmed at times. But yeah, there's definitely nothing wrong with not knowing. I think everybody that says that they don't know potentially may have some sort of direction they would like to go uh, as well. I don't know if you got any thoughts on that, G. Um, yeah, make sure. I was reading. Let's say. Um, Another question, G. Um,
Hmm.
what does it really mean to heal from trauma? And
Oh man,
and is healing ever finished?
oh man. Um, I mean, obviously, it's your definition of what trauma is for you. Um, some people's is way worse, and that's the thing. It's hard to judge but your personal trauma. We can't. Nobody wants to play the. Well, this is my worst moment. This is my worst moment, and vice versa.
So healing is
Um,
never finished.
but no, I don't. I don't think healing ever stops necessarily. I think you can be healed from something, but it's also like I correlate that with bettering yourself,
Right.
and I don't think that's ever going to stop. It shouldn't stop. I'll say that. Um, Healing from trauma. I mean, it can mean different things, but I think first and foremost, facing it head on at a certain point. You know, some people, hey, if it's someone passing or a life event of any kind, heading it on day or two, hey, then we start creeping into we're being able to process and move on from there. Some people it takes longer because some people don't deal with it right away.
Right.
Um, so I think it's all I can't say there's no right or wrong way to heal from it or what that looks like for each individual person. But I think the longer you run, the worse. You're not doing anybody any favors. Let me say that you're hurting way more people running from it and taking that long a time to address it in the first place. I don't think you're doing anybody any like favors by, oh, I'm gonna just worry about this later. You're only hurting way more people that way.
Yeah. So for me, um, I mean, do we really think that it's healing, right? Or do we just learn how to deal with it? I think that's the thing. I mean, I guess that could be a part of healing,
No,
right?
no, okay, okay, okay. So, okay, no, and I say that because I'm world's worst, G. How you gonna deal with it? Okay, G. If somebody say how you deal with it, it is what it is. That's acceptable.
G, I
You
think
feel
that
me? I
G,
mean,
G
is that acceptable?
well, I mean, honestly though, G, like so, I look at me and a lot of things, I can't really say that I've had a, I've had deaths, and stuff like that. I think my biggest thing is like, I don't know, I got to a point where it was just like, well, kind of figured out, that was gonna happen, or whatever the case may be. So I feel like for me, the way I look at trauma or whatever is I'm always preparing myself to an extent for the worst.
That's a terrible way to live, G.
Look at Bree Fax Turtle. He's the king of it is what it is.
That's a terrible way to live. Like, why you're always having anticipation for the next bad thing to happen.
G, I trust.
Who is what? Who? Okay, okay. Let's say you've been doing that your whole life, right? Has that helped you at all? Do you think?
Yeah, yeah.
Wrong. No,
G,
not a
yes.
chance.
Let me
Not a
tell you, G.
chance.
No, let me, G. Let me
No.
tell you. No, hold
Ain't
on,
no way.
G. Let me tell you. It's a certain way to live, and I trust everybody, right? I trust a lot of people, but I also trust them to do some fuck shit. All right, that's it, it's outside of my circle, outside of the community. Gee, I trust I trust and believe that somebody is going to do something. Now, let me say this. No, before I go too far into it and everybody's just like, man, like the way you live is absolutely insane, right? For me and the way I think on things and how I am about things is like I wouldn't necessarily say that I'm the king of it is what it is. Or I just kind of plan for it. For me, I don't expect anybody to think or be like me. So
Yeah.
for me, it's like, well, I know how I would move in this situation. Or like, okay, so for instance, like being in a relationship, right? Or like having like certain friendships or like, having relationships with like people you work with or whatever. I don't
Hmm.
expect you to manage like me. My management style is different. I definitely care and love, my team and stuff, but at the same time, like looking at other managers and when it comes time to do certain things, I don't expect you to be like me because you're not me. So I'm gonna plan for, hey, I always have a backup plan 9 times out of 10 when it comes
Yeah,
to a
but you're
lot of things.
looking at somebody trying. But look, listen to yourself. You're looking for somebody else to get you, right? You like they say, they got to get the getters for the getters get got. Okay, cool. But what about life just happening? Someone passing, your tire being flat, your engine messed up, whatever. Like that's what I'm talking about in that sense of natural occurrences. You can't just sit there waiting for the next thing to happen.
I don't even think it's necessarily waiting for me. I'm not waiting for it to happen. I just understand that I understand the realization of things, like how real something is. Now,
Yeah, but you like, but okay, so are things that are traumatic to you? Do you process those any differently than somebody trying to like come like the passing of a relative or a friend versus someone trying to get you at work, right? Do you process those differently? How do like when you're looking for the next thing to happen to you or whatever it may be?
I mean, I don't process like I don't process them the same. Uh, I don't process like so. Okay, for instance, like what just happened with work, you know,
Hmm.
uh, like I was doing things with great intentions, good intentions, whatever. Um,
I guess what would be like,
I don't
okay, was that traumatic to you?
know.
Okay, that's so we
Well,
that's
wait,
how you
well. I
that's
mean,
my
when
thing.
you
So where
move
did
your
your
family,
level
you move your
I
family
know.
somewhere
Hmm.
new, and then you are number one, number two with everything that you do, and something like this. I can't, honestly, really, realistically, looking back at it, the all in all,
Hmm.
yes, it's definitely. I will say it's dramatic. I moved away from
Okay.
y'all. I moved away from mom. I moved Bree and Tatum down here away from her parents and family to a whole new place. And
Right.
to get absolute canned, like, yeah. But like I had one bad day with it. And it was
Right.
probably like 10 hours. Like one bad day. And uh I had one bad day with it. Genuinely. Um and after that
That's
I've
what I
been
think.
like
Certain,
this.
I think you the way you classify things are just different than other people. Like certain things would may have been traumatic for someone else, but for you, it's just not, and vice versa. Let's say, but I just don't think that some things are maybe not as traumatic as others. Would that be fair to say that? Because your actions kind of dictate. I mean, let's call it what it is. People get act a certain kind of way when certain things happen, right? And so they may not know how to deal with you or the experience that you're going through.
I, this gee, this is gonna sound like I'm not gonna say it sounds horrible. I'm just and I've had to learn and I've had to think on this. Uh, like when it comes to Bree, like right, like, and I mean, I'm sure like I'm just a real person, right? And I guess even with some things that can be traumatic, obviously certain certain people, like the passing of certain people, will have me devastated, right? Others, I'm
Hmm.
that's crazy, that sucks. And then I kind of like I might be quiet, but like it's just not the same for me.
Hmm.
It's just not. Um, I don't know. Like I don't expect it. I don't expect it, but I understand that life is gonna life at any point in time. And
Hmm.
there's nothing that I can do sitting and being devastated all the time for everything that may seem traumatic. I know that I just can't break down and just be like, dude, it's the worst day of my life. Like, I might have a few more of these in life. So like if I act like that once, like how am I gonna act the next time something happens? Because
Better, better. That's what growth is.
yeah,
That's what growth is. But that's the thing. But you got to allow yourself to feel how you feel, though. That's the thing.
I do allow myself to feel how I feel.
But you also sitting there saying, "Well, I can't do this because then who am I to look, act this way or this way, da da da, whatever it may be."
Gee, I do allow myself to like I do allow these things. I just handle it differently. I don't know. Like I genuinely handle it differently. Like, okay.
Oh,
Friend,
I mean, gee, I'm with you. Like I'm the
like,
king. Like when things have happened in the past, I'm all right. I'm cool.
yeah,
I'm
like,
cool. Like I
yeah,
hate. I mean, how many times can you ask me if I'm okay? I get that, like 100%. Like, how you doing? Things like that. Like, I appreciate it. Like, it's a gesture. You know, it may not mean anything necessarily in the moment, but when you look back, it's like, damn,
I
who
will
checked on
say
me?
that the universe is definitely testing me. Dingus, if you want to talk about it, brother, let me know.
Yeah, throw it on.
Look, hey, G,
Hmm.
look at what Bree said last. G, look at her last comment, G. You put a
You
time
put
limit
a.
on how long you're allowed
That's
to
what I'm
be.
saying.
I
That's
can't.
what I'm saying.
I I
That's exactly
cannot
what I'm
sit
saying.
for days and just be because I feel like, and it's like what Bree said in her comment before. I think it's how I was raised. I had to be the man of the house, and I didn't have a dad. You had to protect and care for your mom. You didn't have time to be down and defeated, and that has followed me. Now, am I saying, everybody? Am I saying that that is a healthy way to be? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But I, to an extent, may have mastered it, unfortunately. Right?
No, but I mean, I will say, I mean, over the past couple of years, you've definitely figured out how to be a little more vulnerable,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um, and things like that. You're still not necessarily as open as everyone may like in your circle, but you are better than. So there is growth. Um, but yeah, that's my thing is what putting a time limit on it. Um, and there's just no sense. I mean, because it's just like, okay, when somebody, like my grandmother passed away when I was like eight,
Right.
7 or 8 years old. At the time, like we go to the funeral home, I'm playing, other kids, cousins, we having a great time.
I'm jugging on
Now
my
that
cousins
I'm
and family.
right,
I'm on
yeah,
y'all noggin.
somebody is African booty scratcher.
Man,
And
what?
then that's what I'm saying. So then now that I'm, older, it's like I didn't know her at all. I don't know much about her and things like that. And it's like, man, that would be if it happened what's happened now. Oh man, it would hurt way more because then there's more of a bond, more of a relationship, things like that. So like I understand that, but it's also a child's mind versus growing where I'm at now.
I will say that I'm very afraid for certain things to happen. And I'm not afraid of those things happening. I'm afraid of how I'm going to react. That's the one thing I do hate. Oh, okay, so somebody passes. Hey, like how am I gonna react? Or like, boom, I'm out here, I'm at the gym, and then I drop dumbbells on my ankles, and I have to have both my feet amputated. How am I going to react? Man, it's crazy. Man, I guess it was just meant to be.
Yeah, but okay, but to me, it seems a tad bit hypocritical
Okay.
to sit there and try to tell somebody how to, hey, tell me how you feel. Use your words. When your ass is gonna sit there and be fucking quiet.
Yeah.
Like, how you gonna sit there and tell your child, like, hey, tell me how you feel? Like, it's okay to be this way. It's okay to do this, and then you can be like, stone cold as a bitch.
But I am vulnerable with certain people. You, Bree,
I understand, and
you
that's what I
know.
say. Like, I mean, take your own advice at times. It's okay. Like
Yeah.
it's okay that you don't have answers. Like that's the beautiful part. Like it's okay that you don't have answers.
I think I'm the type of person that may not necessarily like I could use the advice.
Mhm.
I just I don't know. Like I just don't think I'm just not sure if I'm the oh I really don't know how to explain it. Like, hey,
But you see what I'm saying?
yeah, I'm always willing to get the advice, and I always try to incorporate things, especially if they will be of value. I just think for other thing for myself with certain things, like when it's certain people trying to tell me something, I'm just like, all right,
Mm. Well,
uh,
yeah, I get that. I get that
like,
for sure.
hey man, like, hey, Bob, you can't tell me nothing about, you know, how to raise a family. It's okay. It's no different than like if my dad was to come back, right? And be like, hey man, this is what you need to do. Uh how are you supposed to tell me how to raise a family? Brother, you weren't here. I'm not trying to hear that bullshit. I'm not trying to hear it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's things like that. Like, I don't know. The other day I learned about my dad being medically induced coma, and I haven't seen him talk to this man in 13 years. I don't know how to feel because he was horrible to me, but it did connect me to my older sister. Wow. Uh, I mean, and this is like Turtles told me numerous times. Like I tell Bree and Tatum, like, and this is going to sound weird coming from me, especially just hearing what you just heard about how I am with, you know, about certain things. But like, if you're not okay, Dingus, it is okay to not be okay, brother. It is genuinely like, it is genuinely okay. I think when things like some things like things happen to our parents or whatever the case may be, a loved one, uh, or you haven't seen this person, like me, for instance, haven't ever met my dad, right? But Buddy is out of here. He's dead. For me, I was still upset when I found out that he died because I feel like it's the connection of there's still a parent, this is still a family member, and it's gonna make you sad. I feel like that's a natural thing. Um, but yeah, I mean, you know,
I think
yeah,
I think you decide what you want out of the situation
yeah,
in the sense of like, do you want a relationship? Do you not want a relationship? Do you? It doesn't mean you don't care if you don't want a relationship. You
mhm,
don't. We don't owe our parents anything. Let me say that. A lot of people, a lot of parents feel, hey, I birthed you, I fed you, I clothed you. That's your responsibilities. If you didn't want to take care of you, that's that again. That'd be your call. But nobody asked to be here,
right,
so I don't really owe you anything. But my thing is, decide what you want out of it. If you don't want a relationship with him and you just want to with your sister, do that. But feel how you want, like 100%.
yeah,
Like everything's valid. Like
mhm,
you can be mad. I mean, when my friend passed away, I was mad. I was mad. I was hurt. I was like, he left me this, that, and the third. So like, I get it. Everybody thinks they got more time to do whatever the case may be, whether
mhm,
hash it out, do this and do that. The world will show you you're not always going to be here. They're not always going to be here. And so if you
yeah.
want to do it, go ahead and do it.
And for me, like G, I look at, you know, we'll take it, you know, past Michael G. Whenever my granny died, G, I like. It was at one point it for me with me and my granny. It was on site. Like it was
Right.
on site. Like to an extent, like being disrespectful, like putting stress on my mother and this and that. And it's like 3 months before she passed, like we got back close. Like, or no, false. Before me and Bree got married, we got back close. Uh, so like, and then boom, like she passed. If we would have never gotten close or whatever, or if I would have taken the guard down and stopped being, you know, hateful or whatever the case may be, like she would have passed away and I wouldn't have had anything to do with her. And I probably would have, my mindset would have been a little bit different, you know? Um, but yeah, I mean, like, definitely everything is valid when it comes to your feelings and emotions. You know, so I definitely do agree with Turtle. It is a valid thing to sit and be able to figure out like what you want from a situation uh, and everything like that. I did get consent to perform um, perform life saving surgery or other procedures because I am not that person to wish death upon others. I will say I do feel some anger because this is how I learn. This is how I learn about him. Yeah, yeah. Yo, Color, what's good, brother? Yeah. Wait, am I like are the alerts like completely muted? Um, yeah. I think I'm there with you on that thing. It's like for me, like I definitely don't wish death on anybody. Um, but it's still like even if you haven't talked to him, it's still you still have a valid reason to be genuinely upset or mad or feel some type of way about things for sure. For sure. Like for instance, and I can't say that I know exactly what you're going through. But it's like for me again, like with my dad, like I was, I think I was more mad than I was sad because you could have had you didn't I wasn't able to show you how great I was, right? I wasn't able to show you how great I was, but I also was mad that you decided to head out before I can show you that I could be a better father than you. And that was a very, very weird spot because my mom is the one that told me about my dad passing, right? So whenever I found that out, like I cried, but I think it was more anger. But I think the sad part about it was is I wanted to meet him. Like, I had a family, right? Hey, potentially be there when I got married. Now you have a granddaughter, like all these different things, and you're just not around to see none of that now. But I wanted you to see that I was better. I could be better than you. I definitely wanted him to see that I could be better than you. Feel that way as well. Yeah, man. I will say it was very, very, very tough. Uh, I think that's been the only time I've ever been like I've had like mad emotions when something traumatic has happened. I'm either like sad about some things, just like, okay, you know, that's just me, G.
Hey, like I said, I think
I am a douchebag though,
oh my
uh,
goodness,
about a lot of things, you know.
yeah.
Well,
But and I wouldn't say necessarily douchebag, but I mean, bro, like there's no book written on how to do life, bro. Like
right,
there's just not. And so like every situation is unique, every person is unique. So like it can be the same exact situation with somebody else, but because of this, they're gonna handle it this way. And
right,
so there's just no way to know. Like and so it's gonna take time within someone's self to figure out kind of what they want out of it and if you're okay like with not talking to somebody, like I am, G, you already know I'm cool with just not. But you people can just be gone quick.
yeah. You could literally,
Like,
yeah. Now, when it comes to if somebody's done me wrong,
yeah,
I don't even want the apology. I don't want the apology. I don't want the that's a part of me that I gotta work on. I don't even want the
mhm,
apology. I don't even want you to feel I don't even want to know that you feel bad now. Like you should have felt bad then, bitch. Like I don't even care. That sounds weird that. But it's the truth though. It's how I think. I would just rather not even have I don't need any recollection of you feeling any kind of way. Now, to say that I haven't forgave people, that would be a lie. But just because you forgive somebody doesn't mean that you have to be friends with them or communicate with them. You know, like
Well, forgive, don't forget. Well,
Well, gone but never forgotten. But
what's
like
Kadarius up to?
that's crazy. um, Gee, why is vulnerability so hard, and how can it become a strength instead of a weakness?
Because people look at it as weakness. Because the takers,
Mm-hmm.
like that's what I say. The world is givers and takers, and you got to know who, what, when, and where, and why. What you need to be, because people take advantage of that. You being vulnerable. Hey, I need something. Cool. I'll help you out. But then the next time, hey, I need something. I'm not in a place to help you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, oh, now you this, that, and the third. So it being vulnerable, I think it's looked at as a weakness more times than not. Um, but it's like this thing I saw. This guy was like, men have to go out and be tough all day. You got to be tough everywhere. When you go to work, when you go to the gas station, when you check your house at night before you go to bed, make sure the doors are locked. You hear noise. Men got to be tough 24/7 everywhere they go. They just want one place at least to be able to be vulnerable. And if you can't have that, that's where your strength is. Being vulnerable to everybody doesn't I don't to me, I don't need to be vulnerable to everyone. Like I've got my person, I got my people, and they know it. I can be that then. But other than that, man, just because you don't see it don't mean it's not there. I'll say
Right.
that.
Um, I think I for me, I had to learn how to be vulnerable. Like because I wasn't a vulnerable person at all. I mean, and you know it. Like honestly, but like before Bree, I really wasn't all that vulnerable. Uh, I was very like never talk about anything, and even for years, I still even with being with Bree, like it was still hard for me to be vulnerable. And I think it takes, unfortunately, I feel like it may take a mistake or it may take you handling something the wrong way to realize, hey, I can be vulnerable. For me in my instance, like, it took me making a mistake to realize, hey, man, you better talk about some of these things because if not, bro, you going, hey, life ain't all sunshine and rainbows, you know? Um, I definitely think that uh, for me, it was very, very hard to become or to be able to be vulnerable. Uh, I mean, imagine being vulnerable, or imagine not being vulnerable and having kids. Some of the best things I've ever told Tatum were when I've did something or whatever, and I had to be honest with her. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally, I don't want you to feel like you can't talk about something, or anytime daddy makes a mistake, like I'm gonna always be honest about it, but this is how you move forward. Like coming coming from a vulnerable place or a place where you can be honest about things. Um, another question off of the main question, G. How do you decide who deserves access to your vulnerability? Um,
Oh, that's my favorite quote of all time. G. People show you exactly who they are. You just gotta look.
man, yeah,
You
I,
just, I mean,
that
you just gotta look.
that one hits even still today. For even when I was working, right? Even then, like, hey man, some of the people, everyone deserves a chance to see it until they don't. Right. Yeah. I think I think when it came to work, like before, before I left and stuff, like I feel like I wasn't, obviously I wasn't vulnerable like crazy to the people that I work with, but I was able to be vulnerable about certain things because I made mistakes in an area or a space where they're asking questions. So I was able to give advice based off my experience and then to elaborate to tell them, hey, like, you don't want to do this or do this because, hey, once you're over that hump, this is where you're at. It's like I've been able to give advice on situations that allow me to be vulnerable. Um, I don't know. I just feel like there are definitely times and places to and to not be vulnerable. Uh, Obviously, I'm vulnerable with my circle, and I've been very vulnerable on stream before. Like I've been vulnerable. Like, gee, you remember when I had to stop streaming? Like for what was that, like 2-3 months, G? And when we was living in the
Yeah.
old house, like I come
Yeah.
on stream, and it was literally a decision that I made right before stream. Like, hey, I've got to take off. I don't know when I'll be back. Uh, and I was crying on stream. I was boohooing my eyes out. Um, but I definitely believe that most people deserve, if you feel the need to. I don't see an issue with being vulnerable with people who may think or feel like they need to have access to that. I'm vulnerable around my close circle, and but to everybody else, I don't think not being vulnerable, I don't think that makes you an ass though. I feel like a lot of people may think, oh well, I can't get nothing out this guy, like this dude is a piece of work. No, you just haven't, or you haven't earned it. I don't need to, and you might never earn it. You might never earn it. I don't think that not being vulnerable makes you anything outside of just being a normal human. Um, like what's the like what's the difference between being open and overexposing yourself, G?
Mm. I mean, I'm gonna keep. I mean, I'm regardless. There's certain cards I'm gonna keep tucked close to the chest, if you will. And I mean, no reason to bringing up certain things, um, but open. I think it's just like the standard you're gonna set in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like setting boundaries. I
Right,
mean, hey, look, this is kind of as far as I'm willing to go with you or whatever. I don't need you for this. You know what I mean? Kind of deal.
right,
Um, but I think there comes a time and a place in a relationship, whether it be friendship, relationship, family, whoever. I mean, you've got your people, and I think that's going to be. I think that's good enough. But overexposing myself, I think that's just when you do it to the wrong people. I think it's the same thing. Sharing and oversharing. It's just once to the right people or person, and once to the wrong person or people.
yeah. So I think, well, I feel like that this answer may explain me kind of in a nutshell to an extent. I think this is the reason why I'm very closed off about a lot of things, even with my feelings, because I feel like when I'm open, I feel like I'm already overexposing myself. Genuinely, when I'm open, I feel like I might already be overexposing myself. And I feel like to an extent it's one or two things, right? I feel like you're either going to be open and somebody could use the advice, or you're going to be open and somebody's going to use it to try to incriminate you on something. Not necessarily like jail, obviously, but like something else, right? Like whether it's doing it for
Use it to hurt
blackmail,
you.
right? Yeah. Yeah. They're going to use it in some form or fashion, a way for, you know, you to, they're going to use it against you at some point in time. That's why I'm very careful about like being open. I could be open and give advice all day long, but I feel like I'm only going to be open to an extent. I mean, but I think that's kind of the reason why I'm the way that I am. I think
Yeah,
it's,
but I mean, were you like that from early on, would you say? Or like, is that something you've grown into?
um, I feel like I've been this way.
Okay, so like from your earliest friendships, relationships to
Basically, that's
now,
crazy.
you
That's
think you've
crazy.
been the same throughout?
And me in my head and the way I think about it, yes. Well, obviously, I know that I've changed, right?
Yeah.
With a lot of things. But don't uh I don't think that like I don't think I don't want to even risk that, man. Um I don't want to risk being open. And I think the biggest thing for me is I worry about, well, I don't say worry because I don't do it, but the way I think about things is I don't know if I can be open to someone. Obviously, I've got my circle, but I don't know if I can be open enough to someone enough, because I feel like, man, I can be open with this person now or for 5 years, but who's to say in year six it actually wasn't anything but me oversharing, and now we're here, you know, whether it was a friendship, or whatever the case may be. Like, that's always kind of not always what I'm looking for, because I genuinely have a great sense of who I can be open with and who I can't. But I feel like there still has to be a line there when it comes to certain things, that you can't take this too far. I feel like now, gee, this is where I feel like you're. I feel like the quote kind of like, the people will show you who they are. You just gotta give it time. I feel like this is where it could be dangerous. Like, you've been open, and this person has been great for 5, 6, 7, 10, 15 years, right?
Yeah, but I'm not gonna sit there and let other people dictate how I am.
Right,
You
right,
see what I'm saying? And that
right,
and that's where you and I differ a little bit in the sense of I'm not gonna sit there and let like if you want to burn me, cool. Like that's fine. Like if that's but that's who you are. You know what I'm saying? And if it took 5, 6 years, maybe they weren't that person the whole time.
right.
Maybe this is they're going through something as well. If it's out of character or whatever. But I, if that's who you are, that's who you are. I got
Yeah,
no issue with it. But you
I've
just
been
go be
burned
that
enough.
somewhere else.
Right, right. I think for me is I do have a great judge of character, right? I think we have a similar judge of character on a lot of things. I feel like for me, uh, when it comes to a lot of things, and we've all been hurt or whatever, but I feel like for me, I've been hurt enough that I'm just not gonna take any more chances. But then at the same time, where I say I'm not going to take any more chances, and when you trust somebody, who's to say that this person won't just be? And I guess maybe that's some form of anxiety, right? Maybe like the being in control at all times, right? Like maybe that's that side of it. Maybe that's just anxiety speaking. You know, you think you see the light at the end of the tunnel until you don't. You know, and then so gee, I don't know. I'm a very, very complicated person on the inside, but on the outside, I'm not. Isn't that the risk you take to build relationships with people? Anyone can change up on you at any time, but what's life without sharing it with people? That's true. That's true. I think to a point though, outside of my circle, outside of the community, and even the streamer friends that I have, right? I feel like outside, because my circle has gotten bigger, obviously, since I've streamed and since I've been streaming on Kick, right? Since we got off of Facebook. Um, my circle is bigger, but anything outside of that circle, I just don't know if I want to build anything else. I don't know if I want to take that risk.
Do you take risks every day? I mean, you just do. But it's worth. It's like,
This
is it
man,
gonna be worth it,
Bruno
bro?
G.
Like it's. Well,
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I look over and see that, man. Bruno, what's good? But sorry, G. Sorry. That's
mm,
crazy. That's crazy. Bruno, what's good, big dog? How we doing, man? How we
Jordan
doing?
in a fresh cut, boy. Knew you was in the gym today, but me.
He said about me, that's crazy. Yeah. I don't know, man. Like, I just I just feel like I get to a point and like, and there's a lot of people that know me. Gee, you are right though. I do risk something every day. I take a risk every day.
Yeah, but I mean, it's talking to people. It's you don't know. I mean, look at the relationship I'm currently in. That was a whole risk from the jump, Jake.
Yeah,
I mean, that
yeah,
was a whole risk from the jump.
yeah.
But now, like, I couldn't imagine being anywhere else.
Right. I, yeah. I mean, do I? I'm not gonna say. Do I dare say the same? But like, look at two people coming from two different places, and and your goal is to find love or whatever the case may be, and uh, I can't do with these comments, G. I cannot. I can't. Basis and I took a risk, and I'm looking at you dumb and say, that's not funny, basic. It's not funny, you know. No, I mean now people will show. It's just like Turtle said though, basic. People will show you who they are. You just gotta give them time. You say you chilling with the new puppy, Bruno. Love that. What kind of puppy? I took a risk and I got 3 kids and 4 dogs. That's not a risk, brother. Left my home country for someone to switch up on me. I mean, yeah, but like it's either a lesson or a blessing at the end of the day. It's not definitely not a loss though. It's definitely not a loss. I mean, it's the year of the snake. Yeah, definitely don't let it change who you are. Good question. We picked her up as a foster, so we have no idea what she looks like. Kane Corso, okay. Kane Corso. Yeah, we've got Zeke. He's live at Kane Corso. I got a snake for you. That's crazy. Here we go. All right, G. All right.
Okay.
That's insane. Um,
Mm,
um, wow. That man might have just shut down the whole podcast. Um, how, how do life's hardest moments shape the person we become for better or worse?
say it again, G.
Um, how do life's hardest moments shape the person we become for better or worse?
Oh my God.
Looking back, is there a difficult moment that changed you permanently?
Oh man, numerous ones, numerous ones. I think. I mean, relationships ending, new ones forming. Um, those will be the biggest ones because those directly, obviously, you're gonna have. Hopefully, if that's what you want, having a new relationship moving forward. But yeah, I think they can't help but do so. I mean, if you walk out of a relationship ending thinking, "Oh, I did everything perfect," that thing was destined to fail anyway, whether it be now or later. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, yeah, yeah. I don't know. And obviously you don't know what goes on behind closed doors with relationships, right? But I mean, I do feel like there is the potential of life as one person not doing anything wrong. I feel like that is a possibility in a relationship, and I say that because just because somebody else thinks that something that you did is wrong doesn't mean that it's really wrong, or does it mean that it's just wrong to that person?
Well, if they're basing it off of one experience anyway, then yeah, that's jacked anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, if you I mean, you've seen the movies and heard things. I gave them everything, da da da, whatever. Maybe in your opinion, you did,
But maybe you
but
didn't.
it may not be right. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Like, but maybe you didn't. And then
Mm-hmm.
I have to say, and I don't want everybody walk out of a relationship blaming themselves, but it's just like, I mean, my relationship when it ended, looking back, all friends, family, obviously they're gonna have your back and be like, "No, you did right," da da da, whatever. I walked out, I was still saying I could have been better.
Man, bump all that, G. I'll tell you this to this day, G. I'll
I
tell you
could
to
have
this
done better.
day. I'll tell you to this day, you ain't do nothing wrong. That's still to this day. To this day. You know what I'm saying? Nowadays relationships are portrayed as they see people's brain rot on social. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I am not big on the social media, and it's weird, right? I am not big on the social media piece when it comes to relationships. I was at one point in time, and it got me cooked, right? Um, but like I just don't. I'm just not a social media relationship kind of person. Not everybody needs to know what you got going on. G, I told Bree earlier, G. All right. What am I like? What does 2026 look like, G? And actually, before I tell you what I told Bree, what does 2026 look like for you? What is like how does 2026 look for you? Like what do you not even like a resolution, right?
Hmm.
Like how does it look for you? Like what do you think?
Um, hopefully keep building. Uh, 2025 was a good year for me. Um, between work
Bruno, that's
and
crazy, dog.
personal relationships and things outside of work, just my overall.
Right.
Like I don't go to work unhappy. I don't come home unhappy. I'm happy to be anywhere and everywhere. Um, I I like what I do. I like who I come home to. I like my friend. Like I have nothing to complain about. I just if I can keep that going for the next year, that'd be great. Personal growth is always great as well. Um, but man, if nothing changed from 25 to 26, other than paycheck going up, I wouldn't have nothing to complain about.
Gee, some of
To
us
be
ain't
honest.
getting paychecks. G.
Okay.
Gee, some of us ain't even getting paychecks. G.
Okay. Well,
No,
okay, you got
I'm
millions in the
G, G.
mattress.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, yeah. G, do you know want to know what I told Bree earlier about 2026? G, I told Bree 2026, like it's about to look boring to everybody else outside of my circle. Feel like I ain't doing nothing, G. We gonna be G. 2026 is uh you know, I think it's another year of growth. 2025 was as crazy as this sounds, even with just splitting with my job and stuff, right? 2025 was a great year. 2025 was a great year. uh, I was given an opportunity to see a different city that I had no intentions of coming to. Uh, the downfall is, I got to meet some great people. I got to build some stronger work and business networking connections and stuff like that. Um, but I think, with the tail end of the year, getting turned and getting fired from a job for from borderline doing what the company wants you to do and then having the best interests of your team as well. I feel like this what happened doesn't change the year for me. I don't think it was an end all be all for me, because what is a job to tell me if I have a heart or not, right? What is a job to tell me, or somebody to tell me? I'm not going to let one instance jack my whole year, right? I'm not going to let the one day out of 365 just ruin everything. I genuinely believe that 2025 was a very, very good year. Um, this is a very good year. 2026 is, I believe, is going to be even better. But I also think that there's going to be a side of 2026 that might look boring to a lot of people who don't have the pleasure of being in my circle of friends and family and community. Uh, hey, it is what it is, right? Like I don't do this for I don't do anything that I do and just like, man, I hope the people on the other side of the earth really like, and I hope it's great, no, but no regrets, G, no regrets,
I feel that.
like at all.
Well, I mean, yeah, I agree. I'm glad you have that um,
I'm gonna keep it
the
real with you,
outlook that
G.
you
Is
do.
everything if
Yeah.
everything happened like it did on the second of this month, 26 days ago? If I had to rewind and do all over again, G, I do the same damn thing.
Hmm.
I would do the same thing. I would do the exact same thing. I do. Gee, and that's something that I had to think about though. I had to think about that. Like going back, would you have done it differently?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, man. If I did it differently, hey, I might have my job. You know what I'm saying? No, man. There is a part of me, I know I have to remove it. There's a part of me that has a heart when it comes to a lot of things. Uh,
Oh yeah.
you know what I'm saying? And
Same
it's
here.
like,
Same here.
yeah, and it's just like, man, like I just can't. As heartless as I may seem, about a lot of things. It is a lot of things that I just can't just be heartless about. Like,
Right. They have a lot of discretion in my job as well.
yeah.
Being in charge of X amount of people and whatnot.
Mhm.
So I have a lot of discretion that could absolutely make or break someone's day or actually cost them their job. So
Right.
um now, unfortunately, if it's your job or my job, don't get me wrong, it's gonna be my job. You know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
we're gonna ride with what I got, but um
That'll be the flip side to the next thing that I
yeah.
go to.
Go ahead.
That'll for sure be it. That'll for sure be it. Like, hey, I got a lot of love for you, big dog, but hey, sorry, but we're no longer moving forward. You be terminated as of this day. I'm sorry. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, like
hundred
no,
percent.
like
Like
I got a heart, but
when that's like, I mean, when I was training people and I trained this lady who's still with the company now, uh, when I was out on the route, and
mhm.
she tried to holler at me in the back room. She 10 years older than I am. She was like, "You're just trying to make this more difficult." Da da da. Was literally like yelling at me in the back and behind the scenes, and I just started laughing, and I made her mad. I said, "I've already got my job. I've
Right,
already been here,
right,
so you cannot get this, and I'm so okay with that.
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
cool with it."
yeah. I do think I have to learn how to be as heartless as I may seem sometimes, or just like stone faced about a lot of things. I do feel like that there is a lot of things that I still have to learn how to take the emotion out of. Um, when it comes to work, I gotta, it
It's
comes to being a leader. I gotta take the emotion out.
yeah,
It's just
and
hard for me to do.
it is, but it's no different. I mean, it's no different than leading people. I mean, you want to set the standard, and people to adhere to the standard. You
Right,
give them leeway. You give them a little, a little wiggle room in this first little bit to, hey, this is, I hate to use that term, but like a new sheriff in town. Hey, look, this is how we do things, and this is how I want you to do them. And it's not necessarily how I want you. This is how it's going to be done.
right,
This is the expectation, and that's what it's supposed to be.
right.
Moving forward, this is what I'm going to be looking for. And if you don't adhere to those standards that are being set, sorry about you, because lo and behold, you got standards you had to follow too.
Yeah,
And it just is what it is. It sucks, sure, but why would you want to work at a mediocre place? They just like, it's cool, or set the standard of just being okay is good enough.
and
It's not a participation trophy.
that's what the more I got into being in the role, that's the more I realized that things were just like people were running through their workday just okay with it being this way. How many times did I tell you, man, nobody's being proactive. I'm the only one being proactive. And it became very, very mediocre. And it comes to very
Because there's an
repetitive.
entitlement thing that comes along with that
Yeah.
too. I mean, I got I got a team of like 30 guys.
Mhm.
I probably got four that do a good enough job that, hey, you would look at them for a promotion, this, that, or the third. Like go above and beyond, set the standard, do it to a T,
Right.
on a daily basis. Like that integrity that we talked about earlier, like they exude that.
Right.
Like just, I mean, way more so than I did that early in my career. And I mean, that's there's no entitlement here. It's based off your work. It's just like anything. You want anything, you got to work for it. You want a good relationship, you got to work. You want a good friendship, you got to work. You want your kids to be X, Y, or Z, you got to work. Like
Hmm.
it just is what it is. I mean, and I don't know. You just got to be willing to put in the work, man. And I think your children see that, your family sees that, your friends see that you're working hard, that you're trying, and people rally behind those good people. I mean,
Right.
they do.
Well,
I mean, that's a likable guy. That's somebody I can get behind.
right.
Somebody I'm taking it with me because I coach numerous teams of baseball right now, but it's like I'll take effort over talent any day of the week.
Hmm.
I'll take somebody who's just out there working hard. Like that's all I ask. Just try. Go to work. Try to
Right.
work.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
I,
yeah. Yeah. Man, it's just interesting that, like, a time where you, like, the way I look at it is like a time where it going back to, like, taking the heart out of it. Like, that's a time where I should have been more selfish. I'm still learning to be when to be selfish and when to be selfless. You know, I think that's the biggest lesson that I had, that I've stepping back, looking at everything. Like, hey, I may have been too vulnerable during this time. Um, I don't know, man. It was that. Now I will say, based off the question, off the main question, and looking back, is there a difficult moment that changed you permanently? What just happened to me will forever change how I manage people from here on out. Ever. It'll forever change how I manage people, taking the emotion out of it, for sure. For sure.
it, look, it's a job. We all got them, and
Right.
everybody's got to do their part.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the thing. Like you're gonna do right for this person today, and as soon as you extend that olive branch, everybody, not everybody, but people
Mm-hmm.
gonna come with their hand out.
Mm-hmm.
They want the same thing. So, and you got to be transparent. You got to be universal across the board. So, as bad as it sucks, there's a lot of times you just got to be that way to everybody.
Right. Um, what does being a better person actually mean, and who gets to define that?
Say, what does it mean to be a better person?
Yes. What does it mean? What does being a better person actually mean, and who gets to decide? Yeah.
Oh no, I I feel like that's a loaded question. Who gets to decide it? I mean, you get to decide it. I mean, I guess like there's people throw little jokes now. Are you better than I am? Are you better than I am? I've heard that and heard that. If you're a good person, if you a better person, whatever, you don't go around saying that. I'm better. Those people don't actually go around saying they're better than somebody. They just don't. Um, but as far as trying to be a better person, um, that work's done behind closed doors. I feel like. I mean, it's done in your own personal, like how you want to live your life, your beliefs, your truths, all that. I think there's because it's different for everyone. I mean, there's people who are scorned, people who've been taken advantage of, and now they're acting, moving different. And now, oh, you're not who I thought you were. You this, you that. Oh,
Oh, yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm definitely better because I'm not putting up with that no more.
Right.
Just like they was talking about in the comments,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
being better and stuff like that. No, be different, move different. It don't mean that nobody swapped or switched up on you.
Right.
They switch up on everybody or who I am.
Right.
But I
Yeah.
definitely switched up on you.
Yeah. I think, and I actually looked up. I actually was looking for a definition of being a better person, right? And it says doesn't have no fixed definition. It usually means growing in ways that reduce harm and increase good, both for you yourself and others. Different people, different people emphasize different parts, but there are some common themes. How you treat others, how you treat yourself, your values and choices, growth over perfection, intention, and action. Um, I think that I think I mean that's a five piece. I guess like answers to being a better person is how you treat others, how you treat yourself. Um,
I think that's the biggest one.
how you treat
That's the
yourself.
biggest one. Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I mean, you remember that old, remember the Titans, actions reflect leadership. Well, that's true within yourself.
right.
You got to take care of number one.
Hmm.
And so how you act, how you move dictates how other people act and how other people move.
Right,
And so when you act a certain kind of way, it's just like people in their energy. You attract certain kind of people based off your energy, how you move, how you handle things, and so on and so forth. So if you act stuck up, you act, too good for somebody, whatever, okay. Like, just know you're gonna get that. That's what you're gonna get.
right,
That superficial, artificial kind of friendship, and that's what you want, cool. But that's what you're gonna get what you attract.
right. Yeah. And sometimes, hey, there's a lot of it that, hey, you can be, I know that, you always want to be the bigger person, the better person, but sometimes being a better person gets you, people who don't treat you good. They're taking your kindness or you being a better person for weakness. Uh, happens in relationships, happens in whether it's, you and a significant other or friendship or whatever the case may be. Um, I
Or a
think,
family member for that matter.
yeah, I mean, prime example, like I had to learn how to be a better person through everything that happened with my grandma, with my for my mom and how my mom was being treated by people in the family. Like, and I didn't learn how to be a better person from them. I learned it from her during that time when everything is weighing on you. Like, how do you react when everybody's did something to you and then but they're treating you as if you did something to them? Like, how are you going to respond, or how are you going to act, or how are you going to think? um so it says how to treat others, being kind, fair, respectful, even when it's hard. Listening. Oh, G. This is, I looked this up, G, okay? Listening and trying to understand, not just to respond. Taking responsibility when you hurt someone and trying to make it right. When we're talking about others, obviously you taught me the listening and trying to understand, not just to respond, right? But
Right.
the taking responsibility when you hurt someone and trying to make it right is the biggest thing, the biggest thing that I can say that I've learned. And I think that's my biggest thing, G. As we close out,
Mhm.
that's the biggest thing that I've learned during my personal growth journey, I guess you could say. When you're wrong, just saying you're wrong. That is the easiest lesson to teach someone when something is not going your way, you've done something wrong. If you're wrong, the first step to getting over that is, hey, I'm wrong, this and that. I was wrong in what I did. Uh, here's how I move past that.
How do you know
Here's
you're
what we do.
wrong
Mhm.
without making a mistake? I mean,
You'll never know that you're. That's what I was saying earlier. Like, I feel like for the growth piece, when it all comes together, right? When it all comes together, I feel like you you have to be put in a situation to be put to the test to see how you've truly grown. And it may not seem like a test to your growth at the time, but I feel like once you look back at it, you'd be like, man, I used to handle that this way or this way. I don't handle it like that no more. Like, prime example, G, with what just happened. G, the old me would have spazzed out on everybody. I would have showed out. You would have had to come bail me out of jail, Cobb County, G. Like, but that's like, gee, like I wasn't even mad. I wasn't even mad. Like, hey, brother, we're gonna have to part ways, whatever, right? Still to this day, I call the plant manager. We've talked a couple times. I still call him boss. And I told him, hey, like, I'm not even mad at you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not even mad. I do have questions, but I'm not mad.
Right.
The old me would have been ready to set fire to the rain, dog. I would have been ready to air it out, But that's not. Gee, they would have called me my mid-20s, it would have been a different story. But I feel like that's the testimony to being there and leaving and going to work for a company that was actually trash, right? And then going back to realize, hey man, this really ain't so bad, So
I feel that.
but all right, G. Episode 2 down, G.
Yes, sir.
Episode 2 down. Man. Hey, look, G, I'm gonna be real though. I would have never thought, as much as we talked about doing a podcast, that we would actually be doing a podcast. That's what's crazy. This was crazy.
Yeah.
So, but G, I'm gonna close out. Let me know if you need me, G.
Will do. Y'all have a good one.
All right, G.
Cool.
All right, chat. W podcast, right? I appreciate y'all, man. I appreciate y'all. I appreciate everybody for being here, listening to us talk. Hopefully nobody goes away from this and thinks, man, this guy Legend is a piece of work, right? Hopefully you guys don't think that. But I do appreciate you guys, man, hanging out. That's crazy. But I do appreciate you guys. I always give some sort of a spin, off of how others may feel about me, think about me, whatever the case may be. I'm just different in my approach to a lot of things. So hopefully, as we continue on with more episodes, man, hopefully you guys can take a little something from it and apply it. Or, if, you guys just like being here just to hear the yapping, if it's one thing me and Turtle can do back and forth is yap, Also, I don't think some of you guys realize, y'all remember when we did the IRL stream back in like June or July, whatever that was, or August? Y'all realize that y'all have actually seen Turtle. He's my best friend. He's the one that we went on the when we went on the trip when we did the IRL stream. So a lot of y'all have seen Turtle, know Turtle. You guys got to put a name with the face. But chat, I do appreciate you guys, man. The podcast episode 2 is in the books. I will be spending time chopping this up. Definitely will be spending time chopping this up. I do appreciate you guys, man. I don't know, man. I might go back live in there. I don't know. We'll see. Chat, I love you guys though, man. Thank you guys so much for everything. I appreciate you guys. Love y'all. Remember to fill out a form if you guys need to talk about anything. And I will see you guys later, man. Peace.